On the court, all stars make assists look easy. Behind the back, no look, or off the backboard, they're dropping dimes nonstop. That's how we feel about coverage and savings. Combine your home and auto with State Farm and start your own assist highlight reel. After all, even all stars need an assist. Call agent Paul Downing for help combining your home and auto and enjoy the savings. Dial 219-884-6947 or visit www.pauldawning.com. That's PAULDAWNING.com. Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And I want to come to you and say thank you so very much for listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for following me. All of those things, I truly appreciate it. First off, you know how the show works. If you're new to the show, and we've got some new listeners, when we added iHeartRadio and a couple other platforms, Podbean and so forth, we've got some new listeners to the show. So I come on every Saturday, 1:30 Central Standard Time, 2:30 on the East Coast, and I present a topic around credit, surrounding credit. Sometimes it's personal finance related, might be about budgeting, about mortgages. I'm going to present that topic to you. We're going to discuss that topic throughout the show, which is 30 minutes or so. Sometimes the show about 35, 36 minutes. And then in the middle of the show, we're going to have the question of the day. Question of the day comes from you, the listeners. So we're going to do that today. So welcome in to any of the new listeners. That's how we do the show. And I also, in the meantime, I give out shout outs as well. So if you've got a birthday coming up or anniversary or anything you want to shout somebody out about, then please hit me up. 800 creditscoreman at gmail.com. Hit me there and let me know what you want me to shout out, and you may be on the show. Same email address if you have a question about credit, so you can become part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family by submitting a question for a question of the day. 800 creditscoreman at gmail.com. So look, what are we going to discuss today? Today we are going to discuss credit cards. We're going to go through all the different kinds of credit cards there are. How does each of the credit card impact your score? Are they different in any way? Is a secured card impact on your score any better or worse than a regular credit card on your credit report? So we're going to discuss those things today, and even the question of the day is dealing with it a little bit. We're going to talk about income a little bit when it comes to the question of the day today. So that's what we're going to do. So let's jump into the show. Very first thing I got to do for this show is to say happy birthday to Yanetta Bacon. That is my great aunt, y'all. So Aunt Yanetta, she celebrated her birthday yesterday. If I told you guys how old she was, she would kill me. So I'm going to say happy birthday to you, Aunt Yanetta. I got to give a shout out to Lorna McClurklin as well. I want to say happy birthday to you. She celebrated her birthday earlier this week, and I got to give a huge shout out to Notary Josette Scott. She celebrated her birthday as well, so happy birthday to you. And today, let me not forget this one before I even get in the show. Today, I believe, is Angie Hudson's birthday, so happy birthday, Angie. Her family calls her Kelly, or one part of the family calls her Kelly, the other part calls her Angie. She got an alias, I guess. So happy birthday to you, Angie Hudson, as well. So let's jump into the show, all right? So I said we're going to talk about credit cards and how they impact your score or how they may not impact your score. So let's talk about 3 different types of credit cards. That's where we'll start at. So when I say 3 different types of credit cards, I'm talking about bank cards. So, you got a bank, could be your bank. If you bank with Chase, you got a Chase card. If you bank with Citibank, you might have a Citibank card, or wherever you are, you might have a card that comes from an actual bank. So that's a bank card. It's what I would call a regular credit card. It's a regular Visa or it's a MasterCard or what have you. That's what I'm going to consider, or what we're going to use for today. We're going to call that a regular credit card. Then you have store cards. So when I say a store card, you know what I mean. I'm talking about you got a card from Dillard's, you got a card from Neiman Marcus, you got a card from J.C. Penney, you got a card from Sears, maybe even you have a card from a jewelry store. You know, maybe he went to Jared. You got a Jared card. So you've got store cards. So that's different than your bank card, right? A store card is only for that store. Or maybe if that store is affiliated with someone else, you may be able to use it there. I think like Kmart and Sears are connected. One of them bought the other, whatever. Maybe you can use your Sears card at Kmart. I don't know. But maybe if they're connected, you can use them. But typically, a store card is for that store and that store only. So if you've got a card and your card is with Neiman Marcus, then and you got a card with Nordstrom's, then you can only use your Nordstrom's card at Nordstrom. Maybe you can use it at Nordstrom Rack, but you get the point. You know what I'm saying? So you can only use it at Nordstrom's. That's a store card. It's dedicated to that one and only store. All right. So that's a store card. So then you also have your secure cards as well. So a secured card is simply that. It can come from a regular bank. So it could come from, for example, Capital One. Capital One has a secured card. Bank of America probably has a secured card. So there are places that they are a bank and they all have their regular cards, like I said, Visa, MasterCard, or what have you. And then you may have a secured card or you could have one through there. So if you're not familiar with how a secured card works, it works like this. So you are basically taking some money. It can be $250, it can be $300, it can be $1,000, it can be $1,500. You taking that money, your money. You are actually already have cash in your hand, and you're basically giving it over to whatever bank has this secure card. So they're gonna give you a card for that. So that's gonna be your limit typically. Now, oftentimes what they'll do if you come in and you put $500 down, maybe they'll give you a credit card limit of $600 or $750, something of that nature, or maybe they'll wait a few months to do so. So they may wait until you've been in 3 months in, you've made 3 payments, and they may decide, okay, cool, we'll give this person a little additional money because they've shown that they can be responsible over these few months. So we'll give them a little bit more money than they actually gave us to secure this card. So that's your secure card. Got that money. Say you gave them $500, and so that $500 is sitting somewhere for you, and that's what you use. That's your limit. So then you go and you charge a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you make a monthly payment. That monthly payment isn't the full amount that's due. You got a $500 card. You go and charge $150. That doesn't mean you owe $150 the next month. You're going to make your minimum monthly payment. It could be $20. It could be $40, whatever it is. So that's a secured card. You give them money up front, and that basically becomes what your limit is, and then you'll be able to use that card like anybody else uses a regular credit card. You'll be able to use that card. It also goes on to your credit report. The whole point and purpose of getting the secured card, because if you weren't getting credit, if you will, on your credit report, you might as well just go buy one of those prepaid cards, at Walmart or Walgreens or somewhere. Go buy one of those, put some money on it because you don't like carrying cash, and use that card. That's not how this works. So again, let me make sure that you know that too. You can't walk into a store. Can't walk into a Walgreens or Costco or what have you. We can't walk into one of those stores, pick up one of those cards off of the shelf, and then load money on it, and that's a secured card. That's not a secure card. That's anybody could do that. They're not collecting your data. They don't have your social security number. They don't have your birth date. All of those things that would have you would have it placed onto your credit report. So that's not a secured card. That's just you getting a card, and you're loading money onto that particular card. If you had a secure card, that's going to go to your credit bureaus. Hopefully, you get a secure card that goes to all three: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You get them and it goes to all three, so it's going to help you build your credit or rebuild your credit. So that's how a secure card works. So those are the 3 types of cards we're going to discuss: bank card, store card, and your secure card. So now you know how does the store card works, what your secure card is, and then of course you should know what the bank card is. It comes in a Visa, MasterCard, and with the bank cards, you can use that anywhere. You can use it for online purchases. You can buy airplane tickets. You can use it when you go to the convenience store. You can use it at Kohl's. You can use it at Nordstrom's. You can use that card anywhere where Visa and MasterCard is accepted. Or if you have a Discover card, that's a regular credit card as well. Or even an American Express. Those are all regular credit cards. And I didn't put this in my notes. And actually, I'm going to take a picture of these notes that I took because when inspiration hits, man, you just start writing and you write on anything that's around. You got to see these crazy notes that I got for today's show. So let me say, this is what I was going to say to you guys. So when you have those different cards, let me say this because I didn't put this in my notes. When you have those cards, no one card in terms of your credit score is better necessarily than the other when you're talking about regular credit cards. So because you have an Amex, that doesn't mean that that Amex is giving you more quote unquote points on your credit score than say that Visa that comes from some little regional no-known bank. It's not giving you more points on your credit report simply because you have an Amex. Simply because you have, maybe you got an Amex gold. You don't have the green one. You got the gold. Or maybe you get the platinum one. That doesn't mean you're getting any more points necessarily when it comes to your credit score simply because you have the quote-unquote better card. You have the card that everybody wants. Nobody wants the little silver one anymore. Nobody wants the gold one anymore. It's not the thing. You want the platinum or you want the black card. Just because you have that, you're not getting any more points on your credit report. So let me make sure that I tell you guys that, because a lot of people look at it as a status symbol, and in some rights it really is. You know, if you got a platinum card, you probably make pretty good money. You probably got a really good credit score. So it absolutely can be a status in that regard. But as far as your credit report and your credit score, makes no difference at all which card you have within the, if you got a Capital One and they've got, there are different ones, Quicksilver and this, that, and the other one, one may be better than the other in regards to rewards or interest rates may be better, things of that nature. That's totally different than how it's going to be reflected on your credit report. So you don't have to necessarily fight to get to the the black card, if you will, to have a better credit score. It's not going to affect your credit score. It's not going to hurt your credit score any which way form just because you have the upper status one. All right, so let me make sure I mention that in there. So here's what I wanted to tell you. Let's talk a little bit about the bank cards a little bit. So in regards to bank cards, when you have a regular bank card and say you have been working on your credit, you've been listening to the 800 Credit Score Man show for quite some time, your credit has improved, and I want to shout out everybody that sends me, screenshots and all that stuff of their credit reports when they shoot up 36, 70 points and all those things. Thank you so much for sending that to me. It's truly inspiration. Help me, stay motivated to come and bring you guys information on every Saturday. So thank you for that. So, so when you do get that improvement, you might have started, at a 500 or 588 or something, and now you're sitting on a 720 or 730, but you're still holding on to the same card that you had when you first started, whatever that card is. I don't care if it was a secure card or if it was one from, a place like Credit One, which is like people call them like subprime. They're not like they're not the same tier as you will, say a Capital One or American Express or what have you. If you have one of those cards and you're still holding on to it and you've had it for quite some time and your credit has grown, here are some tips for you, some things that you can do to help yourself. So I always say, and a lot of credit, quote unquote, gurus say, do not close your credit cards. You don't want to close your credit cards once you pay them off and you get them down to zero and all that. You don't want to close them because, yes, it does hurt your credit score to close a card because you hurt your length of history. That's just one part of the reason that it hurts your credit score. So you don't want to close those cards. But if you've got those cards and you've improved, maybe you still use them, you use those cards, and it doesn't have to be one of those cards, one of those lower tier cards. It can be any card. And you got that card way back then, and that credit card has a 26, 27% interest rate. Here's some things that you can do to get that rate down. One, now that your credit score is better, and they know it's better,